Let's see if we can get some integrity to these comments. Jeez, man. I just had to end my stream because all you maggots were filling my comment section full of hate. Can I have some respectable public Republicans come and have a conversation with me? Can I have some respectable Republicans come and have a conversation with me, a former Republican? Please. Is it that hard to ask for the simple respect from the Republican Party? Is it that hard? Is it that hard to ask for respect from the Republican Party? Is it too hard for you guys to stop being disrespectful to 50% of the country? Is it too hard for you guys to have a simple conversation about your policies? Is it too hard for you guys to sit down and read? You're wanting to remove the Department of Education, but you don't want to read. Is it too hard for you guys to accept that it was Donald Trump that blocked the border bills? Is it too hard for you guys to accept that it was 100 Republicans that blocked FEMA aid? Is it too hard for you guys to accept the fact that you guys sit idle saying you're making America great when they're in this document aren't talking about illegal immigrants? They're talking about all immigrants. They're talking about all immigrants. Both, not just from Mexico either. There's even outlines in here from Canadian immigrants, German immigrants. I just started reading this. I haven't even got through the whole thing. And I'm astonished by what I've read so far. I'm trying to understand why you guys are allowing this. I'm trying to understand why this doesn't anger you. I'm trying to understand why you, the Republican Party, are okay with this when we have done this 3 times in our American history. We did it to the Japanese. We did it to German natives. We did it to the Native Americans. And now you want to do it to Venezuelans, Haitians, Mexican immigrants, Argentinian immigrants. You realize in Aurora is not a white city. Aurora is a mixing pot of all types of different cultures, all types of different walks of life, different folks, different strokes, different people. And you guys are allowing your party to put forth a plan to go door to door. Door to door. My wife is Mexican. And you guys want to go door to door. How dare any of you? How dare any of you say you are making America great? How dare you, the Republican Party, to have the audacity to say you are making something great when your greatness is going door to door on American citizens? When you're sitting here outlining folks with green cards and visas as illegals. When you're outlining folks that were born here as illegals. Under this operation here, my wife that was born here in the United States would have to show proof that she's an American citizen. My own wife would have to prove that she is not an undocumented immigrant. My own wife would have to prove that she is an American. And you guys are okay with this. My wife would literally have to go a bended knee to make sure she is not wrongfully harassed by ICE. My future children that could come out with a Mexican skin tone would have to worry about ICE. You guys are literally, the amount of government that it took to keep local police from interacting with ICE because of racial beliefs, and you guys are now going to try to overturn laws that stop the sheriff departments from interacting with ICE because of racially motivated deportations. When in from 2008 until 2019, until it was outlawed in 2020, we deported over 2.5 million people. And fun fact, it wasn't fun at all. From that 2.5, 1.3 million of them were American citizens. We've been here, people. We've seen this, people. If you're saying Trump 2024, this is your Trump 2024. Door to door incarceration of your American people. Door to door racially motivated antagonization, harassment, disorderly conduct, abuse of power. This is the America you want. This isn't the America my greatest grandfather passed away fighting Germany for. This isn't the America my greatest grandfather dug out of a latrine as a Jewish man inside of an internment camp. He had to watch his brothers get unalived on a firing range by the Neo Party. He had to watch his wife get SA'd and then unalived. He had to watch his children get worked until death. And then you know what he did? Weighing 64 pounds on the edge of starvation, dug through a latrine and stowed away on a boat, came to America, and then immediately joined the military and went back to Germany to free his cousins, who then came back to America and gave birth to my grandfather. And you guys are wanting to go against immigration. You guys want to go against the very foundation of this country, and you're saying you're making it great. And you're saying you're here for us. And you're saying that you're here for the United States. When you want to come into my city here and do the exact same thing that in 1940 they did to my grandfather. Do you want to do the exact same thing that led to my greatest grandmother SA'd and unalived at the hands of an internment camp? You're wanting to do the exact same thing we did to the Japanese people that were born and raised Americans. You're wanting to do the exact same thing we did to the Trail of Tears and the Native American population. But you're making America great. You're doing what's best for you. Not us. Not we. I. This is your America. This is your America. Say what you want about me, but I knew what my grandfather had to do at the edge of starvation. There's pictures of him. You can see his entire rib cage. I have pictures of my greatest grandfather when he dug out of that Jewish internment camp latrine, a latrine being a toilet that weren't cleaned. Every day he went inside of that toilet digging himself a tunnel until one day he decided he is not leaving that latrine until he escaped that camp. And then he came to America as an illegal immigrant, got his green sponsorship, got help from the federal government to get his weight back, and then signed up for the military to go free his family in Germany. And you guys want to tell me you're making America great. You want to tell me you're here for the United States. You want to tell me that you're voting for the right reason when you're trying to ostracize half of the American population. When you're trying to ostracize what makes our country great, immigration. We are an immigrant nation. None of you are not immigrants. All of us are immigrants. I may have been born here, but my greatest grandfather was an immigrant. You may have been born here, but your parents may have been immigrants. You may be an immigrant. And these laws, Operation Aurora is calling for door-to-door mass deportation. And not just illegal. Do you see in this statement, it says immigrants. It does not say illegal immigrants. And inside of the PDF that I began reading that got me so emotional now. Inside of that PDF, it directly states if you have a visa, you have to have it on you at all times. If you are here on a worker's permit, you have to go and update it every 2 months, even if it doesn't expire for 3 years. And God forbid you forgot it on you one day. And you got pulled over. And a cop decided, you know what, you look like you're not from here and arrest you because they have immunity to do such. Or they determine your papers look fake. Imagine that. I had a person, she was from Brazil, she tagged me in a video she made telling her followers and her beliefs. And the truth of it, she was right. Just think about it like this. If you were an immigrant and you had all of your documents, all of them, and a very prejudiced officer comes up to you and says, these look fake, and shreds them. What can you do about it? The laws that protect you are federal laws, not state. And they can't get federal prosecution, so you are SOL, if not deported. But you're okay with that, MAGA. You're telling me, a Southerner that grew up on the Trail of Tears, you are making America great. You are telling me you are making this country the foundation of what the principles of this country should be. We are repeating history. We are repeating history. I will say it a third time. We are repeating history. We did it to the Native Americans, and 100,000 Native Americans passed away in the first 7 days of the Trail of Tears. 100,000 people. We did it to the Japanese Americans, and 1,000 Americans passed away from hunger and malaria. We did it to the Hispanics in 2009, 2012, and again under Donald Trump in 2017. We are repeating ourselves over and over and over again. And you act like it's nothing. We are only 248 years old. Napoleon himself stated, every nation in this world hits a turning pike at year 250. Here we are. This is our turning pike. This is our point. This is our climactic event. Because if they can do it in Aurora, they can do it in any city in this country. And if they can do it in Aurora, they can do it anywhere in this country. And if they get away with it, and they continue to do it, and it becomes the new norm of this country, we don't live in a democracy. Our constitutional republic is gone. Because our constitutional republic was built by immigrants and colonists and entrepreneurs. There's a man in Aurora right now that was just on the news this morning. It made me tear up. His greatest grandmother was an immigrant, passed away here illegally, but gave birth to his mother. His mother gave birth to him. And his mother walked around in a cart, ringing a bell like you see around here in Colorado. And she built a business, and then he turned around and built a bigger business. And that was worth multiple millions of dollars. And he says he was born here in Aurora and gets actively targeted as if he's an illegal. Born and raised in Aurora, Colorado, and feels that he has always got to look behind his back. And is considering shutting down his business because of the hate, because of the anger, because of the misrepresentation of his Venezuelan community. This is the America you guys are promoting. This is the America you guys are pushing. This is the America where we are right now on October 12th, 248 years into this nation's existence. And you want to say you're making America great. Again. For who? Not for us. Not for us. I'm the first generation of an immigrant family. Not for us. Not for us at all. I'm scared for our nation. I'm scared for my wife. I'm scared for her mother. I'm scared for my friends, my neighbors, my community. I'm scared for my home. I'm scared for my region. I'm scared for the heart of our nation. We are in the middle of the Midwest. The expansion of this country. But guess what? The atrocities that happened in this state to the Native Americans. And we are going to repeat that to the Venezuelan community. Not even 140 years later, after we sat here and marched Native Americans from deep in the south woods of Tennessee all the way out here to the plains of Utah. When they were born in this country, born in this continent, we weren't. We were the colonizers. We did that. We did that. You're telling me you have not took a moment to review how similar this is to the past history of our nation. How similar this is to the rhetoric that led to 1,000 Japanese Americans to die of malaria and starvation in internment camps. That led to 100,000. And that's probably a conservative number. It was probably way more than that. It was a gin. I can't even say it because I'll get banned. 100,000 Native Americans died in the first 48 hours of the Trail of Tears. My Uncle Edward still lives on the Trail of Tears, right there in the heart of Tennessee. And at night, you can feel the energy, what was caused through there. The signs every half mile stating who and how many passed away on that trail. And you guys now want to go door to door. In 2024, you want to go door to door. In October 2024, 248 years of existence, we are going to do the exact same thing we have done 6 different times in this nation. We are bound to repeat ourselves endlessly, overly, and continuously. We are bound to our past. We are bound to our future now. This is our future. This is the America that has been promoted. This is where we are as a nation. And I'm ashamed. I am ashamed. I am ashamed. I am saddened. And I am angry. I am angry to see right here, Trump announces Operation Aurora. I live here. I live here. I've lived here for 11 years. I have made a foundation with the Venezuelan community here. I have friends here. I know these folks. They are not criminals. My home is not a war zone. My home is not a showcase for your racism. My home is not going to be the staple to the next 100 years when referring to what did this nation do in the modern century, an atrocious nature, because there are 150,000 immigrants registered in Aurora, Colorado. We have hundreds of thousands of immigrants here that are legal Americans in a state that is a giant pool of multiple cultures. This state here believes in unity. This state here believes in bipartisan. This state here knows what we did in the past in the original colonizers of Colorado's territory. We know what we did. Our state knows what we did. And I'll be damned if you guys come here to Aurora and you guys start coming door to door. I promise you I will sit at that door with my 12 gauge and you are not stepping foot inside of this apartment complex. Arrest me, officer. You will not touch my neighbors. You will not go door to door. And you are not going to use a false narrative as a staple to push this heinous atrociousness. Laugh all you want. That just shows your character. You're telling me, an American citizen that loves American history in a nation that's only 248 years old, you want to commit the same atrociousness that we did to the Native Americans, that we did to the Japanese Americans, that we did. We are a nation that was segregated until 1987. We are a nation that still to this day has systemic racism. We are a nation that now has one of the highest political officials out here promoting hate. This is our America now. This is our day. This is where we are. This is where we are as a nation. And I'm sure you hear the tears coming out of my eyes because now I'm emotional. I'm past the point of reacting. I'm past the point of feeling like, damn, this is what's going to be. No, this is where we are. And this is where we are going. And this is what you are promoting. This is the ideology that you are pushing. This is the hate that you are consuming. This is the rhetoric that you are pushing. This is the history that is being made in a country that has been desegregated since the 1980s. This is the history that we are now creating on our 248th year. This is the history that we are creating going into our 250th year anniversary, when Napoleon directly stated, we can even go back to Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar said every single territorial continental country or empire will experience, not if, will experience every 250 years its turn point. And this is our turn point. This is where we are. This is who we are. This is who we've become. This is who we have represented ourselves as. And I am ashamed. I am ashamed of this. I am ashamed of this. Monday morning, I am calling our mayor. Actually, no, I'm going to do better yet. I am going to that mayor's office and I am declaring he stepped down on this subject. I'm actually going to even go further. I'm calling our attorney general. I believe a case needs to be opened up against this, because we have done this before. In a territory, when we were just a territory, we did this. This is our America. This is our United States. This is where we are as a nation. At year 248. At year 248, this is where we are. At year 248, this is where we are. This is the nation we have become. This is the nation we have become. I see your comments. Don't think I don't. Don't think I don't see you guys' comments. Don't think I don't see the folks that are supporting this. And that just goes to show you guys. This goes to show the importance of this subject. The fact that he was able to build an entire agenda based on a lie. The fact that he was able to build an entire profile based off of misinformation. The fact that he is now going to go door to door based off of false ideology. When a slumlord was about to get sued, so they pushed some hateful ass rhetoric. This is our America. We've laid our bed. We now will sleep in it. We've laid our stones down. It's time to pick them back up. If we truly want to be a great nation, we need to do it together. If we truly want to be a great nation, we need to end the division. If we truly want to be a great nation, we need to recognize the atrocities that we have committed as a nation. If we truly want to be a great nation, we need to understand the position in which our nation is currently in. It's not about blue or red anymore. It's about right or wrong. It's not about being Republican or Democrat or independent or green. It's about being an American citizen. An American citizen in the United States of America. Not the red states of America, not the blue states of America, not the independent states of America, the United States of America. Because it is we the people, not we the politician. It is we the people, not we the organization. It is we the people, not we the bureaucrats. And if we are going to say we're making America great, this is the era in which you are trying to make great. I usually ask to the world, what year? What year? Now I'm referencing the current year in which we are in. That just yesterday we watched Lauren Boebert come up here and tell our city that every single homeless person in this city is an illegal immigrant and a drug user. And then the next day we see Donald Trump posting his agenda on Aurora, calling it the Aurora Operation Aurora. Calling it Operation Aurora. Operation Aurora. In a Republican city, with a Republican council, with a Republican sheriff, with a Republican representative. They could steamroll this city with no opposition other than our governor. They could go door to door with no opposition from the police. They could go door to door with no opposition from the mayor. They could go door to door with no opposition from the congressman. They can go door to door with no opposition from the senator. They can go door to door with no opposition from even their local councils. This is the America we are in. And unfortunately, it's right here in my yard, 1 block away from my house. On the same street that I've lived on now for 6 years. In a state that I've lived in for 11 years. I'm not even from the state, but I am from Tennessee, a state that has seen the Civil War. 500,000 Tennesseans passed away fighting the Confederacy. 500,000. We're also the same state that steamrolled the Trail of Tears. We're the same state that was last to desegregate. We're the same state that the Klan was born in. And out here in Colorado, you guys now have brought that hate back in a state that has systemically dismantled the Klan, has dismantled the racism, has figured out how to try to bring us back to being that colorful Colorado, and you guys are pushing a rhetoric that is going to destroy our town. We are a staple in this community. Aurora is a pillar in Colorado. One of the only Republican cities that I actually like, coming from a Republican state, because they actually believe in bipartisanship, because they understand it's not a single-sided system. The fact that our mayor has called out Donald Trump for his lies. The fact that our governor and attorney general have threatened to sue them for their lies. And now you guys, this morning, you cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. And you, sir, Mr. PJ saying Scamala touches, you, sir, are part of the problem too. Think I'm not seeing your guys' comments. I see your comments. But what I also see is a racist America. What I also see is an empowered America that has empowered racism and bigotry and hate and dishonor and disloyalty. Because it is we the people, not we the party. It is we the people, not we the system, not we the private industrial complex, not we the multi-billionaires of this nation, not we the companies that run this nation. It is we the people. And if you guys want to go mad at odds and say this is good, how is it good when we deported over 1.5 million American citizens that had to come back to this country? When we deported over 2 million Mexican Orients from 2007 until 2019, until finally the Biden administration said enough is enough. The amount of American citizens fully born in this country that were deported wrongfully. In a system right now that now you're going to require an immigrant that can only have one set of documents to keep those on them 24/7 non-laminated. So when you go to your job, you have to keep it on your person. When you're driving, you have to keep it on your person. When you're out and about, you have to keep it on your person. If it gets destroyed, too bad. If a cop decides it looks fake, oh well. If it turns around and they say, you know what, I don't like the way you look, and they tear it, you can't sue them because they'll have federal immunity. And if you're in Florida that already has state immunity, you would have federal and state immunity. I can't imagine what the immigrants in Florida are about to experience. But I can imagine now what my neighborhood is about to experience. I can imagine now what is about to come to my home. Right here. Operation Aurora. Operation Aurora. Instead of buckling down on the slumlords, instead of buckling down on Excel for keeping an extremely high electric bill, instead of buckling down on Denver Water for keeping this water pricing extremely high, not buckling down on any of the people that are actually causing problems, you want to sit here and cause problems with legal immigrants. And you say, oh, it's just because they're illegal. No, sir. No, sir. In this document, it directly states it will come after you no matter what. Be you legally born here, legally transferred here, legally absorbed into here, you will be at risk of deportation. Or have a racial neighbor that decides that you don't look right or don't look like him and then throws you away or calls ICE and says, hey, I believe his documents are fake. The sheer level of harassment. It reminds me of like New York to the Jewish community, Alabama to the Cuban community, Tennessee to the Haitian community, Kentucky to the Ukrainian community, Virginia to the Iranian community, California to the Haitian community, Colorado, the Venezuelan community, Ohio, the African American community. I'm talking to you, Mr. Sundown State. Our country has systemic issues across the board, and you guys are empowering it. You say you're making America great when the only thing you are making great is yourself. And your self-righteous, selfish ideology. This is the America we are in. This is the America we are in today. This was posted October 12th, 2024, this morning. In that fine line, it directly states they're going to go apartment building to apartment building, door to door. And if you do not answer, they will kick it down. That is fascism. That is fascism. But you don't bat one eye to Governor Abbott. You don't bat one eye to the Texas governor busing millions of immigrants all across this nation. And then Colorado turned around out of 2 out of 3 had to go back to Texas because they already had court dates. But you have a problem with illegal immigration when Texas has not modernized their immigration system since 2003. Colorado modernized ours in 2022. This is the America that Donald Trump has promoted. And this is the America that his followers are promoting. And I'm sure these comments are probably heinous. I'm sure many of you are saying Trump. I'm sure many of you are saying you support deportation. I'm sure many of you are saying likewise. And what I got to say to all of you, we have already lost. When I say we, I mean you and me. We have already lost. Under Smittler's Mein Kampf, it said to divide and then you conquer. Create classism and then you conquer. Create obstruction and then you conquer. Create division and you will conquer. And where are we today? In a state that is known for its immigration, that is known for the fact that this is not a single color state. We are probably one of the most densely populated, immigrated states in the Midwest. We are literally taking a book that was produced in the 40s and enacting it in our 2020s. We are taking what happened in the 1940s and doing it prerequisite style in the 2020s. Because guess what? In the 1940s, where, like I said earlier on the show, with my grandfather that was almost facing starvation, that dug his way through a latrine so that he could he could get out here. He watched his entire family succumb to starvation. And when he was weighed in the United States, when he got his official weight, he weighed 64 pounds. But thankfully, our country welcomed him. And then he joined the military and fought the Germans. And won. And he did not leave. Even though his platoon and battalions left and rotated, he stayed. And he fought tooth and nail to free my cousins from those internment camps. And unfortunately, 9 out of 10 of my family members succumbed to that war. 9 out of 10 of my family's heritage were destroyed. From what? From hate. This is our America. This is our America, and this is our chance to decide what America are we going to live in? What America are we going to succumb to? Are you going to make this country great through bigotry, or are you going to make it great through unity? Are you going to make this country great from the past, or are we going to look forward to the future and see that we can actually do something as a nation together? Are you going to tell me our country was great when we were segregated? Or are you going to tell me we're going to make this country great together? Because sir, I am not a Marxist. I am not a communist. And I am not a fascist. I am an American citizen. The second generation from an immigrant man who fought and died serving this country that he wasn't even born in. Kenneth T. Raby, if you would like to know his name, he is on the Black Wall in Washington, D.C. That was my family. That was my history. That's where we are today. Where my great-grandfather sits on the Black Wall in Washington, D.C. as a fallen name to the German Empire. But he fell after freeing my cousins, well, my great-cousins, from the internment camps that he escaped. They didn't expect him to come back. They didn't expect him to free them, but he did. And he was an immigrant to this nation. And he fought and died for this nation, a nation that he wasn't even born in. And now you guys want to go door to door in my community. You want to go door to door in my home. You want to go door to door on the same street in which I have lived on for 5 years. You want to go door to door in a community that will show you nothing but love. You may not be from around these parts, but if you're hungry, your neighbor will feed you. If you knock on a door of someone that's having a good time grill out, guess what? They'll give you a plate. They may even give you leftovers and invite you to the next one. I remember when I blew a car line, my hoses on my car, I didn't have the right part, and I was down underneath in my car. 6 Mexicans men that I didn't even know jumped out of their car with toolboxes and a jack and helped me fix it. I didn't know them. I didn't never seen them before. They just seen that I was struggling, and they stopped and they helped me fix it. This is the community that I want you guys to know about. That every Sunday on Colfax Avenue, you can go over there by the King Soopers, and all of the locals will come out there with food trucks. You take $2.50 and you'll have yourself a nice meal. Delicious too, and a live show every Sunday, right over there by Colfax. You know what I'm talking about if you're from around here. This is our community. This is our neighborhood. This is who we are. That's why I picked this city. That's why I chose to live here. Because I traveled through here and I fell in love with it. And I want you to fall in love with it too. I want you to fall in love with the reality of what my neighborhood is like. I want you to fall in love with unity. Because sure, we got our issues, and sure, we have some crime, but at the same time, our crime rate is down 19% since I've moved here. Down quite a bit, man. Aurora has become a staple. Actually, Denver has been mimicking some of the laws that Aurora is pushing because they're like, hey, it's working. You guys should be giving your Republican people credit, but instead now you're empowering them to commit atrocities. You Republicans are supposed to be the most Americans and calling yourself patriots, but you want to deport American citizens. You want to redo exactly what we did multiple times. You want to push your neighbor out. You want to turn our community into your quote-unquote war zone. Well, I have a news flash for you. In the spring, the sunflowers grow. In the summer, we all get out here and have fun. In the fall, we're pulling ourselves together. And in the winter, we're giving each other presents. This is our community. And the same block that has been on national news, on the same block that has been ran through the mud, on the same block that has been quoted as a war zone, you will find nothing but love. You will find nothing but prosperity from the people within. Yeah, we may be poor, but we're still Americans. Yeah, we may be living in a house that's got popcorn ceilings, but we're still Americans. Yeah, we may be living edge to edge, paycheck to paycheck, but we are still citizens of this country. This is the America we live in today. And if you're listening, like I said, this is MrCakes here. I'm talking to you live, telling you like it is, because sometimes a 10-minute video is not enough. Because sometimes a clip is not enough. Sometimes it's not enough. But here I am, a citizen of this area, a Southerner that grew up on the Trail of Tears, a former Republican, pleading, not demanding, pleading, not begging, pleading. This is my community. And I'm sick and tired of it being ran through the mud. I am sick and tired of it being disrespected. I'm sick and tired of my neighbors being associated with criminalities when they have not even broken a single law. I'm sick and tired of politicians coming up here and starting things about my community and using it as a staple, because the truth of it, the only reason y'all are so focused on Aurora, Colorado is because our congressional seat is up for grabs. Our congressional seat is a tiebreaker in the Midwest. Our congressional seat now holds more power than it did before, because now it has grown exponentially. And you guys are afraid of our city becoming more bipartisan than it has ever been. And you're afraid of that. And I don't understand why. Why would you not want your Republican city to excel? Why would you not want your city and your state to do well? Why would you wish ill will? I got comments of people saying they would run immigrants over in their vehicles. I've gotten messages telling me to unalive myself for speaking out. Even on this stream, right here during this live, I've gotten 3 death threats. 3. Of course I reported it. Of course I blocked it. But still. And they got a saying about activism. We put ourselves on blast because that's the truth of it. And the truth of it is right here. Operation Aurora. You plan to come to my town and cause mass deportations on American soil, on American citizens. You plan to come to my town and demonize my community. You plan to come to my town and vilify the citizens in this community. Well, I'm here to tell you, I rebuke all of it. I rebuke all of it, and I pray for every single one of you. Because this is not the America that I know. This is not the America that I want to know. This is not the America that I want to have children in. This is not the America that I want to excel in. This is not the America that I want to represent to the world. The America I know is welcoming. The America I know is giving. The America I know will give you the shirt off of your back in a time of need. But now, the America I all of a sudden know wants to criminalize those in need. Would rather wear AR pins, Lauren Boebert, I'm talking to you, to talk about Aurora when she's too afraid to even come here. When this city is glorious. This city is fabulous. We have our problems, and it's the slumlords. Our city has our issues. Our city has our problems. Our city has our zones that aren't too favorable, but we are the 4th largest city in the Midwest. If you go looking for trouble, you will find trouble. If you go looking for hate, you will find hate. If you go looking for drugs, you will find drugs. But at the same time, on the other side of that panel, find some of our love. Allow me to express our love. Allow me to express our community to you. Don't listen to these media. Don't listen to what you see on Facebook. Don't listen to Instagram or your TikTok feeds. I live here. I love it here. And as a man from the South, I would have my children here. I will grow my family here. I will build my business here. I see my future here. And I'll be damned. Strike me down right now if I'm lying. I'll be damned if I allow this to run rampant through my city one more day. And come Monday morning, I am calling the governor. I am going to the Attorney General's office. I am going to the mayor's office. This is wrong, and it should not be allowed in our state at all. This is dangerous. This is beyond fathomable. This is absolutely absurd. This is absolutely egregious. This is absolutely racially motivated. In a community that expresses nothing but love, if you ask your neighbor for help, they will help you. If you ask your community for food, they would fill your cabinets. If your neighbor notices you need help, they won't even wait for you to ask. They will just bring it to you. One day my neighbor recognized that I was sick, hard sick. He had his mama build me up a nice stew and then gave me the recipe so that I could repeat it. When I had a heart attack at 21 years old, all I could do was make noise. My next door neighbor kicked my door and took me to the hospital and sat with me until I was able to go home. And I didn't even know the man. All he heard was something crash hard multiple times, and he felt like it was his purpose to come and make sure I was okay because I always treated him with a smile. And that man saved my life. And you want to criminalize that. You want to demonize that. If there was a narrative that you would have painted from that, it would have been the immigrant kicked the door in, but that immigrant kicked my door in to save my bones. And I am still thankful to this day, and we are still friends to this day. 6 years later, we still communicate. He has a beautiful daughter, just had a baby, got his green card, full on work visas and everything, and now he is at risk. Now his children is at risk of losing their father to deportation. A man that saved my life. So if there's anything you can take from today, take this. I am an American. We are Americans. This is the United States of America. We are a constitutional republic. This is dictatorship. This is dictatorship and autocracy. This is not a constitutional republic. This is not democracy. Saying that you're going to go door to door is not democratic in any way. That's authoritative. This right here is an authoritative statement. This right here is an authoritative plan. This right here is an indoctrinatable outline that can be abused, that can be misled, that can be misrepresented, that could lead to deaths, that could lead to atrocious actions, that could lead to heinous activities, if not a war. This could lead us to a civil war. And as a man from the South, born and raised Tennessean with 931 tattooed on my arm, 500,000 Tennesseans fought against their brothers and family members to free Tennessee from the Confederacy. That is my state, where I'm from, and our history. And you guys want to repeat it. You want to give authoritative power to a man that said he wants to be a dictator, and y'all say he's not going to be a dictator, but just posted a dictator manifesto. Shut the hell up, Trump 2024. No, sir, you have a blessed day. That's all I got to say is you have a blessed day, Mr. Who's Grips with no Shut the hell up, Trump 2024. No, sir, you have a blessed day. That's all I got to say is you have a blessed day, Mr. Who's Grips with no... Shut the hell up, Trump 2024. No, sir, you have a blessed day. That's all I got to say is you have a blessed day, Mr. Who's Grips with no... Shut the hell up, Trump 2024. No, sir, you have a blessed day. That's all I got to say is you have a blessed day, Mr. Who's Grips with no... But the truth of it, when you guys come out of that phase and step out of that water and dry yourselves off, we will welcome you with open arms. Even after all the hate, even after all, welcome you with open arms. Even after all the hate, even after all, welcome you with open arms. Even after all the hate, even after all, welcome you with open arms. Even after all the hate, even after all, 47 presidents, 47 presidents, 47 presidents, ever, 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 ever. I am sad. I am sad. I am sad. I feel it in my chest. This is our country. This is our America. This is who we've become. This is what we've empowered. I say we because it's not just I. Even if it's MAGA or Democrats, I say we because you are still representing the United States. Whether you want to agree or not, we are brothers and sisters representing the United States. Whether you want to agree or not, we are brothers and sisters representing the United States. Whether you want to agree or not, we are brothers and sisters representing the United States. Whether you want to agree or not, we are brothers and sisters together, 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 indivisible, with liberty and justice beyond. That says it in our national anthem and our Pledge of Allegiance. Because when I pledge allegiance to our flag in the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All. With liberty and justice for all. Does this look like liberty or justice? Does this look like togetherness? Does this look like the for all portion of our Pledge of Allegiance? Because if we're going to erase that, if we're going to erase our togetherness in our nation, then we have already lost. If at this point you guys are going to continue to call Democrats communists and Democrats call Republicans fascists, we have already lost. On both sides, on both fronts. And Democrats call Republicans fascists, we have already lost. On both sides, on both fronts. And Democrats call Republicans fascists, we have already lost. On both sides, on both fronts. And Democrats call Republicans fascists, we have already lost. On both sides, on both fronts. And just like the Mein Kampf directly stated, when a country hits the divisible point of a 50-50, they choose. Where are we choosing? What direction are we going to choose as a nation? When are we going to let go of this on both fronts? And just like the Mein Kampf directly stated, when a country hits the divisible point of a 50-50, they choose. Where are we choosing? What direction are we going to choose as a nation? When are we going to let go of this on both fronts? And just like the Mein Kampf directly stated, When a country hits the divisible point of a 50-50, they choose. Where are we choosing? What direction are we going to choose as a nation? When are we going to let go of this on both fronts? And just like the Mein Kampf directly stated, when a country hits the divisible point of a 50-50, they choose. Where are we choosing? What direction are we going to choose as a nation? When are we going to let go of this 40? It's only been 40. It's only been 40. It's only been 80 years, 90 years since the world wars. When we watch Germany commit atrocities to the Jewish community, when we decided 80 years, 90 years since the world wars, when we watch Germany commit atrocities to the Jewish community, when we decided 80 years, 90 years since the world wars, when we watch Germany commit atrocities to the Jewish community, when we decided 80 years, 90 years since the world wars, when we watch Germany commit atrocities to the Jewish community, when we decided enough was enough and we stepped up and we liberated the Jewish community of Germany, you're telling me we're going to do the exact same things that we went to war with Germany over in our own backyard? You're telling me that you're going to give what was the freedom for and justice for all? You're just going to erase that part from our pledge? When we decided enough was enough and we stepped up and we liberated the Jewish community of Germany, you're telling me we're going to do the exact same things that we went to war with Germany over in our own backyard? You're telling me that you're going to give what was the freedom for and justice for when we decided enough was enough and we stepped up and we liberated the Jewish community of Germany? When we decided enough was enough and we stepped up and we liberated the Jewish community of Germany, you're telling me we're going to do the exact same things that we went to war with Germany over in our own backyard? You're telling me that you're going to give what was the freedom for and justice for when we decided enough was enough and we stepped up and we liberated the Jewish community of Germany? When we decided enough was enough and we stepped up and we liberated the Jewish community of Germany, you're telling me we're going to do the exact same things that we went to war with Germany over in our own backyard? You're telling me that you're... And if you want us to get back up, we have to do it together. And if you want us to get back up, we have to do it together. You can't run a mile on one leg. You can't run a mile on one leg. You can't do a pull-up with one arm. I mean, I'm sure you can. Not to break anyone's backs on that, but if we truly want to do this, we have to do it as one nation. But if we truly want to do this, we have to do it as one nation. But if we truly want to do this, we have to do it as one nation. But If we truly want to do this, we have to do it as one nation. This is my home. I love my home. I love my home. I love my community. I love my neighbors. I love my neighborhood. Sandra, you are a racist. Have a blessed day. Jesus. Just sitting here reading some of you guys' comments. I had to come out here on the screen because Sandra, you are a racist. Have a blessed day. Jesus. Just sitting here reading some of you guys' comments. I had to come out here on the screen because Sandra, you are a racist. Have a blessed day. Jesus. Just sitting here reading some of you guys' comments. I had to come out here on the screen because Sandra, you are a racist. Have a blessed day. Jesus. Just sitting here reading some of you guys' comments. I had to come out here on the screen because this. So, what do we decide? Where do we decide? How do we decide? Are we going to decide together? Or are we going to tear each other apart? Are we going to stand with justice for all or justice for some? Because we are a nation that is on its knees right now. Not from economics, not from the current presidents, but from 248 years of hate. This is what's led us to today's America. Generation after generation after generation of hate. Continuous after continuous. Down the line. Because you know what my parents taught me? What was taught to them from their parents and what was taught from them to their parents? They told us about what occurred in Germany. About how my Jewish grandfather, who was just a simple farmer, refused to feed the German army, had his farm burnt to the ground, had his wife essayed in front of him and murdered the army, had his farm burnt to the ground, had his wife essayed in front of him and murdered the army, had his farm burnt to the ground, had his wife essayed in front of him and murdered the army, had his farm burnt to the ground, had his wife essayed in front of him and murdered. Father had to fight and pled for his life until a point where he felt he had no other choice but to dig his way through poop-soiled water and out of latrine and ungodly conditions, an ungodly environment with no food, no water, and starving. And he took his last will to dig a hole that got him to the other side of that fence, and he ran far and as fast as he could. There's stories that he ran and ran and ran and ran till blisters were on his feet, and he kept as he could. There's stories that he ran and ran and ran and ran till blisters were on his feet, and he kept as he could. There's stories that he ran and ran and ran and ran till blisters were on his feet, and he kept as he could. There's stories that he ran and ran and ran and ran till blisters were on his feet, and he kept. The U.S. military protected him, and then he went and got his green card that year and went back to Germany and was a part of the removal of the internment camp in which he escaped from. That was my family. That was what my great-grandfather had to do to survive being a Jewish man in Germany. So now I'm looking at what my great-grandfather had to do to survive being a Jewish man in Germany. So now I'm looking at what my great-grandfather had to do to survive being a Jewish man in Germany. So now I'm looking at what my great-grandfather had to do to survive being a Jewish man in Germany. So now I'm looking at what my great-grandfather had to do to survive being a Jewish man in Germany. So now I'm looking at what my great-grandfather had to do to survive being a Jewish man in Germany. So now I'm looking at what my great-grandfather had to do to survive being a Jewish man in Germany. So now I'm looking at what my great-grandfather had to do to survive being a Jewish man in Germany. So now I'm looking at what my great-grandfather had to do to survive being a Jewish man in Germany. So now I'm looking at what my great-grandfather had to do to survive being a Jewish man in Germany. So now I'm looking at what my great-grandfather had to do to survive being a Jewish man in Germany. So now I'm looking at what my great-grandfather had to do to sur So now I'm looking at what my great-grandfather had to do to survive being a Jewish man in Germany. So now I'm looking at 20 what my great grandfather had to do to survive being a Jewish man in Germany. So now I'm looking at 2024, seeing what it was like an immigrant in America in 2024. 80 plus years later to the day when I'm looking at 2024, seeing what it was like an immigrant in America in 2024. 80 plus years later to the day when I'm looking at 2024, seeing what it was like an immigrant in America in 2024. 80 plus years later to the day when I'm looking at 2024, seeing what it was like an immigrant in America in 2024. 80 plus years later to the day when my grandfather dug his way out of that latrine just so that he could have his freedom. And not just his freedom, he came back to ensure the freedom of the family members that were left. And it's unfortunate, extremely unfortunate, but I am proud of what my great grandfather did, because I am here today